It's a... What was it? Oh, shit. You know what? We didn't... Oh, man. You know what I forgot to do before we started? I forgot to do the No Man's Sky stuff. Again. But you know what? They're doing an update of No Man's Sky, which means I'll probably play it again at some point to see what the updated stuff looks like. If I don't talk about No Man's Sky tonight, I will definitely do it on the next cast. I'm just sort of... Need to do a final thoughts on that, at least in the current state of the game. Not forever. Wait, did I just lift the refrigerator? Okay, did not mean to do that. Binding, you know, the funny thing is, like, Binding of Isaac was not the game that did it for me. It was Risk of Rain. Risk of Rain was the game that really gave me a fucking hard-on about roguelikes. I just fucking loved that game to death, and still love it, but I burned out on it, and I don't really love roguelikes. I can't hear any of the music, and I don't know why. I feel like the music is really low. I only have one question about No Man's Sky if you don't talk about it tonight, and I'll probably just tweet it at you. Well, okay, here's the thing. Let's do this real quick. We can't do it real quick, because there's a whole shitload of stuff to talk about. But, like, alright. Here's the basic stuff about No Man's Sky. We're gonna have a No Man's Sky moment here, guys. Bear with me. The PS version looks like shit. And it crashed at least once when I played it. Now, they're going to fix that. They're going to patch that. But the PC version, for my blood, looks better. Repairing the ship in the first mission is the only thing that's the real structure in that game. The Atlas missions are kind of boring after a while. And getting to the center of the universe doesn't really feel like a whole lot. Like, one of the biggest annoying things about that game for me is moving from ground level to planetary level to sky. It's broken. It's flat out broken. Every time I take off from a planet, I get launched into space. I don't know why. It's annoying. It's frustrating. They need to fix it. And it happens constantly. Variety of planets and wildlife. It's not as varied as you're led to believe. I think that's been pretty established at this point. Flying, mining, and exploring is actually oddly relaxing. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people have been talking about, where you can put the game on, play it, and it's, you know, put on a podcast, put on a movie, just sort of veg out to it. That's kind of a cool thing about it. The inventory slot system sucks. Full stop. I fucking hate it. Can't stand it. I don't know what they thought that was good about. Stacking items is inconsistent and confusing. Same problem. Stations, bases, outposts, and shelters are almost identical everywhere. And the only thing that separates them is the alien race that you're talking to. Zero stakes gameplay. Another big problem. You get into the middle of a space battle. You have no idea why any of these space battles are happening, and it's never explained to you. So it really doesn't matter. No stakes. Why get involved in the first place? Multi-tool and ship design are very cool. They are cool, but there's really no difference between them. Big gripe. If I'm going to get a better ship, I want it to actually be better, not just have more inventory slots. Everything can and will kill you. That's pretty cool, which is important in a survival game, which this game is. It's a really good-looking game on PC. Not as good-looking on PS4. But why can't you move installed components? That's like one of the things that drove me crazy about the game. You would build a component, it would take up an inventory slot, and you could never move it. And the thing that's so frustrating about that is that when you put like components together, they get a bonus stack off of each other, but you don't know that, and you're not always necessarily capable of building that way, because when you get a ship or you have stuff in your inventory that's already like pre-located, you can't move that shit around. So annoying. Vagueness as an excuse for depth or plot is bad. And that is like one of the key problems with No Man's Sky right now, is that I get the loneliness and desolation and sort of like remoteness thing that they're going for. That doesn't mean that it has depth. Right now, it's very shallow. It's a very, very shallow game. For everything that's good about the game that I've talked about, it is a very shallow experience. Here's a positive thing. Firsts can feel extremely satisfying, but quickly become pointless and repetitive, which is true. Every time you hit one of those journey moments where it's like, you have completed a journey milestone, those are awesome. And then they get completely, like, run into irrelevance after a very short period of time. Why are resources like platinum near rocks or zinc? Why is a sentinel the best source of titanium? Why is thamium only in the space rocks? Like, there's a lot of things about mining that are very samey from galaxy to galaxy. Iridium is almost always in an upright rock. Gold and iridium, not iridium. Thamium is always easiest to mine in space. It's like they're consistencies that feel like they go against the whole galactic amazing thing. And also, why are certain blueprints single use? Blueprints are different levels of the same thing. Blueprints are the hardest thing to find, and you can't track them because there's no way to get them or nowhere to pick them up. You can't buy them. You just have to be lucky enough to have them drop somewhere. And some things you can use once, and some things you can build multiple times. And the whole system feels like was one of the last things developed because they're all like slight variations on the same idea. And it just, again, it's like you have this, the room is this big, but the ceiling is this high. Square footage is great, but you have to kneel to get into it. It's just, it's kind of the worst element of that game. If anybody has anything they want to ask me about No Man's Sky, go right ahead. And with that, I'm gonna get back to Deus Ex. But yeah, and I'll take that section of this show and turn it into its own little video or highlight in case you guys want to pick that apart later and find my inconsistencies and things that I am, being a dick about the game for, because why not? Pull my shit apart. Would you say if it was half price, the game would be worth the purchase? See, now that's an interesting question. And I think the thing that I would say is that I'm very much in the same mindset as another fellow streamer on Twitch TV, Cody from Cody from Excessive Profanity. And the reason is that the value of the game is definitely related to the amount that you get out of it. Now, what I will say is that at $60, I got... So I picked it up on PC and I picked it up on PS4. I played about 10 hours on both. So that's like about $120 right there between the two games. I don't think that the games themselves I think it's a great value to pick it up at a $30 price point if you can get it at a $30 price point. I think for them to sell it at $60 is a factor of how long they've been working on it, how much they put into it, and just how big the game has been on a marketing standpoint, on a development standpoint, on it being, marketed as a AAA game. I think at $60, you can find a lot of enjoyment for the price, but I think a lot of people can and should wait for it to be a little bit cheaper. I'd say like $49 is probably not an unreasonable amount to pay for this game, for what it does. But again, I think what you're willing to pay for a game and how much value you get out of that game from playing it, those are related things. I definitely feel like if you paid $60 for this game and you enjoyed it, then it was worth the money spent on it. But I could definitely see people saying like, I don't think I want to spend $60 on this game, so I will pick it up when it goes on sale. And that is totally reasonable, and I totally respect people who do that. I think, you know, anytime you can get a sale on anything, that's a good thing for the consumer. Absolutely.
This city is one
You know,
big gutter and all
my feeling is that I shouldn't need to pay $60 for Hello Games to have enough of a bankroll to keep supporting this game, because they didn't put features in it that they said that was going to be in it. You know, again, on some level, the early access game part of it is a totally warranted comparison. Maybe not always the most fair comparison, but it's not a inappropriate comparison. So if paying $60 is going to result in them actually being able to continue to support it, on the one hand, that's good, but on the other hand, it feels like they didn't come through on a bill of goods that they said they were going to do. And I am, in fact, paying for a game that's not finished, which is something that I wrote in my notes. So the short answer is no. Yeah, exactly. TLDR, no. Fuck it. What's up, Kamazoots? How you doing, buddy? The studio did get flooded and pretty much ruined most of their work in 2013, and they took a huge hit financially and lost tons of progress. There's definitely, that's definitely part of it. I don't know in the long term, 3 years on, how much that affected what the final product was. But again, like I said, I want to support developers who want to support their games. And I really don't believe that Hello Games is going to just go, well, we're done. That being said, paying $60 for a game that isn't feature complete is kind of the new normal. And that kind of sucks. So, let the buyer beware, I guess? Ah! It's a huge hint towards offside backups, exactly. Exacto munda. I'm going to... Here's what I think I'm going to do, because I'm really close to leveling up. So that was a very long-winded answer. And I apologize for taking a little bit of time away from playing this game. I blame that entirely on Muffin, who wanted me to talk about No Man's Sky during a Deus Ex cast. Send your hate mail to a little muffin at... That's not an address, but it's his Twitch address, and so you can send him a message. Feels very much like an early access game. I wonder if this would fare better on Xbox, since they have an early access program. Long-winded but coherent. I cannot imagine that this game will not eventually come to Xbox One.
Of these protests.
I
These limb people are drug pushers.
honestly
Someone is getting rich while the rest of us are suffering.
think
I wouldn't know about
it must come to
All
Xbox
I
One
know is that
eventually.
this violence doesn't serve anyone.
Oh, this is
Well, I
Lim.
guess the
I
question
want to go
now
back
becomes,
to... Yeah.
will the
Yep, all your
group
fault.
retaliate?
True, accurate. This is a thing. Guess we're just gonna have to make do with it. Where is... I have no idea where I'm going. Where... Alright. Wait. Placed it... Oh. Where the hell... Derelict Row. That's gingivitis. Really? That's kind of gross. Oh, Seraph had... Okay, so it's here and to the right. Okay. It should be an early access game, but it's a complete game. Yeah, and I see that's like... That's the thing. If you're... I think there's definitely a contingent of people who played No Man's Sky as it is, accepted it for what it is, and went, well, this is what I'm going to get out of this. And that's it. And either you can accept that or you can't. But, I mean, you're just making it harder on yourself if you look at all of that stuff and you go like, well, this game's not what they said, and I'm mad because reasons. And it's like, well, yeah. I mean, on some level, you're not wrong, but throwing a temper tantrum ain't gonna fix shit. A security rating of 2. So, can I hack any of this stuff? Ugh. There must be something I can hack here, right? I just need one hackable door that I can hack into. That's a security rating 4. Fuck that shit. That's a 3. Yeah, and I definitely know people who cancel their pre-orders. Fuck a duck. Can I really not hack any of this stuff? And I mean, you know, on some level, people have been saying this for a long time now. If you want to avoid the day one bullshit of games, don't pre-order games. I mean, it's kind of a shitty thing because I know people want them, but it's like I know people who are not pre-ordering Deus Ex Mankind Divided because they don't want to play. They don't want to pay for a beta. They don't want to pay for a game that they feel, because of the way certain companies develop and release games, that they won't be playable when they launch. And that is a decision that consumers are allowed to make. I think the thing that I've heard people saying over and over and over and over and over again when it comes to games like No Man's Sky or Ubisoft games or, you know, Quantum Break or whatever the hell it is that launch with problems is that people aren't actually getting the message. People aren't actually changing the way they do things. And so companies don't have to learn from it because lots of people are still pre-ordering games and lots of people are putting up with the fact that they're broken when they launch or they're not finished or what have you. And, you know, it's companies are repeating the same problems over and over and over again because, honestly, no one's saying that it's a problem because they're opening their wallet and going, here, take my money, regardless of this thing being finished. Yes, I want it. Fucking A, I'm guilty of it. So, there you go. You're done with pre-orders. I'm not pre-ordering Deus Ex or Civ 6, but Civ 6 is making my hand itchy, I have to admit. I will probably pre-order... Well, yeah, I will probably pre-order Deus Ex. And it'll probably be busted at launch. Ogdron! What's up, Cujo? How you doing? Hey, Elias. Already pre-ordered Civ 6. Not doing Deus Ex nor Dishonored. I will probably pre-order Dishonored too. And actually, that's not wrong the way I'm saying it because Dishonored 2 is Dishonored 2. So that works well. Cujo, Elias, how you guys doing?